Hi, and welcome to week 8. In week 8, I really want you to think of two things as we start to get a little further into our research for this white paper that, as I keep reiterating, will become your proposal. Okay, so audience is one of the things I want you to think about this week, and ethics. You've got quite a few different articles that I've posted that deal with both. Let's just look at audience analysis for a minute. In that particular article, I want you to go ahead and read through. I want you to think of who specifically is your reader. We've talked about this in my responses to your your white paper plan, sorry. What you think your readers might already know, what you need to explain to them, what you need to clarify. I want you to just read through this, think about how that audience shifts for different types of writing in different disciplines. I want you to think about being specific, and I definitely want you to think about language that you'll use. I want you to think about any kind of demographics that you need to be aware of. Again, just reading through this particular piece and really considering how that will impact the way that you will talk to your audience in this white paper. The next thing that I want you to look at is what to think about when writing for a particular audience, and that I had jumped ahead a little bit when I was showing you the other document, but that really gets into things like language and tone. I want you to be aware of that as you start to prepare for that research portion of this white paper. When you really think of it, it's much like what you did, most of you, in writing 1060, where you needed to get established the background by pulling that scholarly research. Now, that leads to the annotated bibliography assignment. You're going to submit that this week. What I want you to do is, and I'll move that over, I want you to summarize 2 journal articles, which are scholarly peer-reviewed articles, and 1 additional credible source. So a total of 3 sources. You're going to basically give me the references on a separate assignment so I can evaluate those, so I know that you will make the corrections necessary when you're going to submit those as a draft with your white paper. But what I want you to do is start to prepare that research. So you're going to provide a 1-page double-spaced summary of the key points of those 3 sources. Again, 2 scholarly, 1 credible popular source. Within each summary, I want you to include the strongest rhetorical appeal, the article's purpose, the article's intended audience, and how the article will impact your audience. So I really want you to think that through. Again, reading those pieces about audience is going to help you answer those questions. They're going to help you think about what the article you're reading has as an intended audience and how that information will impact your audience. So as you can see, this is about a 1-page summary, double-spaced. It includes all 4 of those components along with the summary. So it's a summary, all the important details and answers to those 4 components. And you'll do that for 3 sources. All right. Then I want you to read through the ethical communication, ethics when you're writing in the workplace. I want you to think through what you need to do to represent yourself fairly, to develop that ethos further. So I've given you a slide share. I've given you, just some information in article form. And the final read and review piece that I have for you is just a refresher of the Writing 1060 library instruction models. If you don't remember how to work through Library One Search, which has slightly changed this year, you have to, set up that first search the same way, but then you're going to, once you get into the actual articles, you need to sign in with your NetID and password. But at any rate, if you need a refresher, the links are there. You're going to turn in the annotated bibliography, so those 3 sources in one-page summary format, answering those other 4 components. The references page separately so I can look at that and evaluate it and give you feedback on it. And finally, discussion forum number 8. And in discussion forum number 8, I want you to, again, think about what we're focusing on this week, the audience and ethics. And I want you to look at Twitter-based customer service communications between JetBlue and their passengers. I want you to choose one conversation. In your initial post, include a screenshot of the conversation and answers to the following questions. How did JetBlue handle this, or how well did they handle the situation? What image does JetBlue's response create, and what is the tone of their social media presence? And then based on these answers, does JetBlue use an audience-centered approach that exhibits an awareness of the principles of ethical communication? Why or why not? And then I want you to respond to 2 classmates' posts in the following way. Comment on their assessment of JetBlue's conversation with this passenger, and then include a screenshot of a Twitter-based customer service communication from another airline that does a better or worse job, and briefly explain your choice. So all 3 posts will handle looking at audience and ethics when it comes to Twitter-based communications for primarily JetBlue Airlines and then an additional airline. If you have any questions as you work through these assignments this week, don't hesitate to ask.